Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. There are moments in the entertainment world that feel carefully planned, polished, and rehearsed down to the smallest detail. And then there are moments like this one, the kind that slips through the cracks. The kind that wasn't meant to be highlighted, replayed, or dissected frame by fans around the world. Yet somehow, it becomes unforgettable. That's exactly what happened with this quiet exchange between Lee JunHo and YoonA. A moment so natural, so unguarded, that many fans are now asking the same question. Was this really just acting? At first glance, nothing about the interaction seems dramatic. No grand gestures. No obvious declarations. No camera zooming in to tell us, this is important. And maybe that's precisely why it felt so real. Because when something isn't trying to convince you, when it simply exists, it has a way of speaking louder than anything staged ever could. Lee JunHo and YoonA are no strangers to public attention. Both are veterans of the industry, shaped by years of cameras, scripts, interviews, and expectations. They know how to perform chemistry. They know how to switch it on and off. Which is why this moment stood out. It didn't look like something turned on. It looked like something that simply is. The exchange happened quietly, almost invisibly. No dramatic soundtrack behind it. No deliberate framing. Just a brief interaction caught in between official moments. A glance held a little longer than necessary. A subtle shift in posture. A reaction that arrived instinctively, not theatrically. Fans who noticed it didn't describe it as romantic right away. Instead, they used words like comfortable, familiar, and effortless. And those words matter. Comfort is not something that can be faked easily, especially not in high-pressure public environments. When two people are comfortable, their bodies relax. Their reactions soften. They stop performing for the room and start responding only to each other. That's what made this exchange feel different. Lee JunHo didn't look like he was aware of being watched in that moment. YoonA didn't look like she was choosing a response that would look good later on screen. It was quiet, quick, and completely unpolished. What fans found most striking wasn't what they did, but how they did it. Lee JunHo's attention seemed to land on YoonA instinctively, not as part of a script or cue. His expression shifted in a way that felt unguarded, almost reflexive. YoonA's response, equally subtle, carried a warmth that didn't demand acknowledgement. It didn't ask for applause. It simply existed between them. And that's where the conversation among fans began to change. Instead of asking, are they dating? Many started asking, why does this feel so normal? Because real closeness often doesn't announce itself. It doesn't need to prove anything. It shows up in the smallest details. In timing, in awareness, in the way two people seem tuned to the same emotional frequency without trying. This wasn't the first time fans had noticed something like this between them, but it might have been the clearest. In previous appearances, their chemistry was often attributed to professionalism, mutual respect, or shared experience. This time, it felt deeper than that. There was no audience-facing intention, no performative energy, just a brief, shared moment that felt personal. Industry professionals often talk about the difference between chemistry and connection. Chemistry can be created. It can be directed. Connection, however, reveals itself when no one is trying to show it. That's what made this exchange so compelling. It didn't feel designed to sell a narrative. It felt like something we weren't meant to see, and that made it all the more convincing. Fans began replaying the clip, slowing it down, watching their expressions rather than their actions. And what they saw wasn't exaggeration. It was restraint. It was subtlety. It was two people who didn't need to signal anything to each other because the understanding was already there. Lee JunHo, known for his emotional depth as an actor, has always been expressive when he wants to be. But in this moment, his restraint spoke volumes. There was a gentleness in his reaction, a kind of attentiveness that didn't feel rehearsed. Yoon, equally experienced and composed, responded not with performance, but with presence. She didn't play to the camera. She stayed in the moment. What's interesting is how quickly fans recognized that difference. This wasn't about shipping culture or fantasy. Many fans explicitly said they weren't trying to create a story that didn't exist. Instead, they were responding to something that felt undeniably human. A moment of quiet acknowledgement between two people who seem to understand each other beyond words. In an industry where image is everything, moments like this are rare. Celebrities are trained to maintain a certain distance, even when working closely. Boundaries are carefully managed, which is why when those boundaries appear to soften, even briefly, people notice. Not because they want to intrude, but because authenticity stands out in a world built on performance. Some fans pointed out how Lee JunHo's body language subtly shifted toward YoonA, as if his attention naturally gravitated there. Others noticed how Yoon didn't react with surprise or self-consciousness, but with ease, as if this kind of interaction was familiar territory for them. These observations weren't dramatic. They were quiet, and that's what made them believable. There was no attempt to turn the moment into something bigger than it was. No exaggerated smiles. No sudden awareness of the camera. Just a brief exchange that passed naturally, like countless moments do between people who share genuine comfort. And perhaps that's the most telling part. If this had been intentional, it likely would have looked different. More obvious. More performative. Instead, it felt almost accidental. Something that slipped through before anyone remembered they were being watched. That's why fans can't stop talking about it. Not because it confirmed anything, but because it revealed something. A dynamic that feels grounded. A connection that doesn't rely on spectacle. A sense that whatever exists between Lee JunHo and YoonA doesn't need to be announced to feel real. Whether this moment means something more or simply reflects deep mutual respect is ultimately something only they know. But what fans witnessed was an illusion. It wasn't forced chemistry. It was something quieter and, in many ways, more powerful. In the end, the reason this exchange resonated so deeply is simple. It reminded people of how real connections actually look. They're not loud. They don't demand attention. They don't need explanation. They show up in small, unguarded moments. The kind that feel too natural to be just acting. And maybe that's why this moment continues to linger. Not because it told us a story, but because it let us glimpse something honest. Something human. Something that didn't ask to be seen, but once noticed, couldn't be forgotten.